Florida is on the threshold of greatness, or it's on the cliff of despair. The difference is an election. Elections have consequences. If you don't believe me, go to a town hall meeting. That's what all of this is all about. Having a vision for our great state and the people who are willing to be involved, not just in the August of the election year, but the August of the off year, because you care about the direction of your community. You care about the direction of your state. You care about where we as a nation are going. And as a nation, we need to have this great national dialogue. We don't need a great national shouting match. A great national dialogue is a healthy thing. And we need people in place at every level, at the school board, to make the right decisions for our kids. On the county commission, where every decision they make is choosing between neighbors. In the legislature, on Florida's cabinet, in the Congress, in the Senate, in the White House. Every one of those levels is important. Frankly, some of them more important than others, but not necessarily in the order that you might think. So what brings a group out on a hot August night at the end of the first week of school when you could be doing 100 other things? When you could be supporting the band that needs new uniforms, the Boy Scouts need a new lodge at the Camp Flaming Arrow, the Girl Scouts cookie drive is coming around the corner. I mean, people who support local political parties also support everything else. I mean, you talk about de Tocqueville's America. It's the people who write letters to the editor, go to school board meetings, chair the PTA, lead the peanut sale for the Kiwanis Club. That's what makes all of this stick together. It's not belief in the institution of Congress, which is at 12% or something, maybe down to single digits. It's not belief in the institution of the legislature, which probably has twice as good approval ratings as the Congress and deserve to be 3 times as bad, but everybody confuses where they actually serve. The community activism is the glue that holds our communities together. And when you're campaigning, you walk into communities, and you know the ones that really get it. You know the ones that are communities. They have strong civic clubs. They have big signs out front that say Rotary Club meets here. And then you know the ones that are it's just this area where a whole bunch of people live next to each other. They don't really know their neighbor. They might wave when they're going down the driveway. It's not really a community, though. It's just an urban place. So your commitment to be involved is the first step towards doing something about what you obviously believe is the wrong direction for America. We just have to channel that energy for the next 15 months because the anger that we see out there is not enough. We have to backfill it with the first principles that we believe in as conservatives. That individuals have the right to seek their own fortune in America, and by character and by merit and by hard work and a fair amount of luck, they're going to succeed. They're going to do well. We believe that government ought not step between you and your doctor, that the doctor ought not work for the government, and that the government ought not take so much from every business that we're all working for the government at the end of the day. And that's the direction that they're trying to take us. So those principles of protecting those liberties that are enshrined in our Constitution, those principles of capitalism and entrepreneurialism and free markets where people succeed and people fail and we move on as a nation. Those are the strengths of our country. And they're the strengths of this party when our party is at its best. When our party is at its best, we recruit the best possible candidates for the job that they're seeking. We back them up with the strongest possible grassroots, and we believe in their message. And somewhere 4th or 5th is where the money ought to come in, but not first. When we as a party say, we just got to put somebody on the ballot, we'll buy enough TV time to drag them across the finish line, then we've lost even if we've won. Because if we can't win the debate, if we can't win the public policy argument to our neighbors and to our friends, then we haven't really won at all. And that's what your passion and your enthusiasm and your commitment to this effort will deliver next November. I would be honored to be able to come back from Washington after 5 terms, 10 years. Can you believe that? And serve on Florida's Board of Directors and bring about this change. And bring this vision. It is not an abandonment of those 3 pillars that make up our economy. It's diversifying that. It's broadening it so that those 3 aren't carrying the whole load. I think that the next Commissioner of Agriculture ought to actually have a background in agriculture. I mean, I may be young and naive still, but it makes sense to me. I think that person ought to have a passion for what that means in the 21st century. And that means water policy for Florida. Because it doesn't matter if you want to plant a citrus grove, a strawberry patch, or a subdivision, it's going to boil down to water policy in the state of Florida. I think that person ought to have a passion for what the future means in terms of environmental land acquisition. And instead of the state buying every single piece of land they can get their hands on, finding ways to do conservation easements and development rights so that the land stays on the tax rolls and doesn't undermine state and local governments, and the state doesn't take on the burden of managing that forever. It means having a modern food safety system. We live in a world where Jif peanut butter is advertising, "We won't make you sick." But I also rode past a bank today that had a marquee that said, "Your money's safe here." That's embarrassing. Of course, I hope it's safe here, but the fact they have to state it makes you wonder. But having a modern, relevant food safety system, having an approach to resource management, and most importantly, bringing that vision to Florida's cabinet, to Florida's Board of Directors that's so important as we chart our future. None of these things are possible without strong grassroots. None of these things are possible without people going back into their Kiwanis clubs and back into their Rotary clubs and back into their Sunday school classes and back into their homeowners associations and back into the PTA meetings and saying, "Hey, I met this person running for Commissioner of Agriculture. He's a great guy. You ought to check out his website. Hey, I met this great gal running for the school board. You need to check out her website." You are the vanguard of this effort. You are the foot soldiers in bringing back democracy and the people's voice and the people's passion so that we can change the direction not just of Florida, but of this country, and take it back from those who don't trust us with our own futures. We can do that together. We absolutely can do that together. And I'm just proud to be a part of this effort. I'm proud to have earned your support over the years. A lot of you have knocked on a lot of doors for me. A lot of you have been chased by a couple of mean dogs for me. A lot of you have spent an awful lot of time in the sun waving a sign for me. And for a lot of other candidates. And on behalf of all of those candidates, I just want to say thank you. But our system requires that we stay engaged, that we stay involved. Because if we step back, somebody else may fill that void, or if the void goes unfilled, that's even worse. That's even worse for our future. Because our whole system is built on men and women, young and old, being willing to engage in the marketplace of ideas about the future of our community, of the great state of Florida, and of the United States of America. Thank you all very much, and God bless each and every one of you.